They call you a god, but I remember when you were just a ghost in a giant jersey. At 13, the only thing smaller than your height was the chance of anyone outside of Rosario ever knowing your name. Level 1. The Ghost of Rosario. The concrete burns your feet when you're 7, running through an alley with a ball made of plastic bags and tape. You're the smallest kid on a street full of 9-year-olds, the one your father thinks should be focusing on math because soccer is a scam invented to slow the game down. But when you run with the ball, something happens that you can't explain. The world goes quiet. The noise from the street disappears, and it's just you, the ball, and the space between a defender's legs. You aren't thinking about the fact that your shoes have holes in them. You're free. Level 2. The Diagnosis. One afternoon, a man from a local team watches you from the sideline. He doesn't say anything at first, but then he hands you a jersey that's used, with someone else's name on the back. It doesn't matter. It's the first real kit you've ever owned. But there's a problem. Your body isn't growing like the other kids. Your legs are slower to develop, and the doctors use words like hormonal, the way a barista says oat milk, casually, like it isn't going to restructure the rest of your life. You have to learn to be the engine, because you don't have the height. You spend your nights watching film at 1 a.m. on a cracked laptop, learning where to stand before the ball gets there. Level 3. The Napkin Contract. A scout approaches your mother, not you. 2 weeks later, you're across an ocean, sitting in an office at a professional club's academy. They slide a piece of paper across the desk, or in your case, a napkin, and they tell you they want you. Your first night in the dormitory, you lie in a bunk bed listening to a kid from another city cry himself to sleep. You want to cry too, but you do it quietly. There are 30 kids in your age group. The club will keep maybe 5. You watch kids get released every few months, packing their bags and disappearing. You survive because while they hit a ceiling, you keep improving. By 16, you're the best player in the academy, and the first-team coaches start showing up to your matches just to give you a nod. Level 4. The Senior Room. You're 18 when you walk into the senior dressing room, and nobody looks at you. These are men with mortgages, kids, and endorsement deals. You're just a teenager with boots that are still too clean. The captain glances at you and tells you to find a locker. That's your welcome. Training is a different planet. Passes arrive harder and faster. Defenders are stronger and smarter. The first time a veteran center back puts you on the ground, you realize you're nowhere near the best player in this room yet. Level 5. The Debut. It's a Tuesday night. Minute 72. The fourth official holds up the electronic board and your number is on it. Your legs are shaking, and you can hear your own heartbeat louder than the 30,000 people in the stadium. You step onto the pitch, and the grass feels softer and brighter than any training session. The first ball that comes to you, you trap it clean. You touch the ball 5 times in 18 minutes. After the final whistle, the captain, the one who barely looked at you, shakes your hand and says, "Good job, kid." That night, you watch the replay on your phone 6 times. Level 6. The World-Class Icon. 3 seasons later, you aren't just a starter, you're the one the fans sing about. Your face is on billboards, and kids are wearing your jersey to school. You buy your mom a real house, one with a garden and no leaking roof. You're the focal point of the attack now. The coach builds the entire system around you. When you pick the ball up in space, the whole stadium holds its breath. You win the league, you win the Champions League, and you score in the final with a volley that people will replay for the next 50 years. The money and the fame are side effects. The football is the drug. You see passes 3 seconds before they happen, and managers build entire tactical plans just to contain you. Level 7. The Weight of the Armband. They hand you the armband in the tunnel. Behind you are 22 men who would run through a wall for the badge on their chest. When you win, the whole country celebrates. When you lose, the whole country mourns. Taxi drivers want to discuss your tactics, and grandmothers recognize you at the airport. But your country hasn't won a World Cup in decades. The papers call it a curse. At halftime of the big games, you see the younger players with their heads in their hands, and you have to be the one to look them in the eye and say, "I've been where you are. Follow me."
Level 8, the final run. It's 2022, the final, 89th minute. Your legs are gone, and your body's begging you to stop in the 30-degree heat. 80,000 people are in the stadium, and 1 billion are watching at home. The ball drops to your midfielder, and he looks up to see you making a run. You've made this run 1,000 times, in the alley, on the dirt pitch, in the academy, and in the Champions League. The pass is perfect. The center back is on your shoulder, trying to force you wide. You drop your shoulder left. He bites. You cut right. Now it's just you and the keeper.
Level 9. The silence. The stadium disappears. The noise disappears. For 1 second, you're back in the alley with bare feet on hot concrete and a ball made of tape. You strike it low and hard into the far corner. The net ripples. For a split second, there's just silence while 80,000 people draw the same breath. Then, a wall of sound hits you like nothing you've ever heard. Your teammates are sprinting toward you, and you're at the bottom of a pile of bodies, screaming and crying and laughing all at once.
Level 10, the receipt. Full time. You climb the steps to the podium and lift the trophy with both hands over the heads of everyone who said a kid from the alley would never make it. The confetti falls, and they'll build a statue of you. But you're just scanning the crowd for your mother's face. You find her in the third tier, both hands covering her mouth, wearing your jersey. She looks exactly the same as she did on the sideline of that local cup final when you had newspaper stuffed in your boots. You hold the trophy up toward her, and she nods. That's all. The game eventually ends for everyone. Your legs get slower, and recovery takes longer. But somewhere right now, an 8-year-old is watching your highlights on a cracked phone. Tomorrow, he'll be in his backyard with 2 chairs for a goal, missing shots, getting frustrated, and dreaming the same dream you lived. Because the ball never lies, and the engine never truly stops. If this story stayed with you, leave a thought below. Subscribe for more.